Sweden and Mexico, we've had excellent bilateral relations for many, many years, and very strong trade relations also in addition to that. I'm pleased to see that there are almost 200 Swedish companies being present here at the Mexican market today. But having said that, I believe that there is true potential for even more of that, because Mexico and Sweden, we are like-minded in many ways. We both believe in having a rules-based trade system, but we're also focused on sustainability, the green transition, of course, communications, transportation. I also see opportunities in the healthcare sector that is becoming more and more important. So being here today together with all of these fantastic world-leading Swedish companies, they tell me basically the same story, that they have been here for some time, that they enjoy their presence here, but that they also see a lot of opportunities. And that can also be the mining industry, for example. I came straight from a meeting with mining representatives from both Mexico and Sweden. We share the same priorities there, to do this in a more sustainable and eco-friendly way, and we truly believe that there are a lot of opportunities attached to the green industrial revolution taking place. It is important in itself, the green transition, but we also view this in Sweden as a catalyst for stronger economic growth, job creation, and really creating just societies, which I think is in line with both how Mexico and Sweden view this very important topic. So even though we've been here for many, many years, I am fully convinced that there are numerous opportunities in front of us. And that's the reason why we are having this business forum today, and of course also the third state visit by Their Majesties, the King and Queen of Sweden. Yes, it is. I mean, Mexico is an important market in itself, but also because of the very interesting geopolitical and geostrategical position, one must say. And this is so obvious. I was here a few years ago, back in 2017. I believe Mexico was on the move already then, but coming back now, it's only 7 years after. I've only been here for a few days, but I can already see that there is a stronger economic growth today, and there is another kind of trust, one could say, in the future economic development. So it is important for many Swedish companies, not only the larger ones, I want to say. I just talked to one of the, it's basically almost a startup company, and that is also fascinating. We're blessed in Sweden having some of the world's finest companies, but also some of the best startups and small and medium enterprises. And I think it really tells us about the importance of the Mexican market, talking to Swedish startup companies, smaller companies that want to invest here in Mexico, because it's a long journey, needless to say, going here. So but they do it anyway, and that is for an obvious reason, because they see the opportunities that are here, and also Mexico's important strategic position. Well, Sweden has been a partner to Mexico for many years, and we are one of the most generous nations in the whole world regarding development cooperation, for example. I mean, that's really important for us. We're also well known for our interest in human rights, in individual rights, in democracy, and the rule of law, etc. When I look at Mexico today, I notice from an economic point of view, a very positive development. I'm glad to see that. There are also challenges. Of course, there are challenges everywhere. One can look at the situation for journalists, for example. And that is something that I know that I believe politicians in Mexico from all different political parties are interested in changing, because it is important to have a just society. But we want to be this long-term partner, and when you're friends with someone, you can also be very honest and direct. And I think even though Mexico has come a long way, of course, there are things that could improve, just like in any nation, also in Sweden. Well, Mexico is a partner to us, like I said, and I think we have come a long way. There is some support in the development cooperation area, for example, focusing on human rights, but also providing journalists with the right conditions. I think that is important. But first and foremost, I believe that, looking at it from a more long-term perspective, I believe that the most important opportunities here are when it comes to trade. A few hundred years ago, we were a nation up in the northern parts of Europe. We were poor, it was cold, etc. And today we are one of the most prosperous nations in the whole world. And what created this fantastic development? Well, that was trade. It was investments in innovations, in startups, etc. And I think this holds true. This lesson holds true already still today. So from our point of view, it's interesting also to see where we can find the right synergies between development cooperation and foreign trade and entrepreneurship. Well, of course, it's not up to me to decide who will be the next president here in Mexico, but I wish you all the best. But it's not only about the next president, it's also about there will be a change of so many seats all around this nation. It's a very impressive task that you are on the way of doing. More than 20,000 seats, I believe, on the state and local levels. You know, from our perspective, it's the same when it comes to any election. We don't interfere with any political elections, but of course we are interested in having, no matter who wins, a government and a president that want to increase the cooperation with Sweden. And not only with Sweden, we're also looking at hopefully signing the updated free trade agreement between Mexico and the European Union. That is important for Sweden, and we are one of the most, one could say, most hardcore free traders that are out there. And I think that's especially important in today's world, where trade is increasingly becoming geopolitics. And there are definitely challenges to that and problems. So we are here to say that no matter who wins the election, etc., let's continue to do more of that free and open and important rules-based trade.